Sejam todos muito bem-vindos. Quinta-feira está chegando a hora, agora falta só um dia. E para dar continuidade aqui à nossa cobertura direto de Ohio, a gente hoje trouxe um convidado muito especial. Dennis James está aqui para fazer as previsões do Arnold Classic 2024. Boa tarde, Pacho. Boa tarde, Dennis. Prazer enorme estar aqui. Obrigado por ter aceito o nosso convite. Você tem muitos fãs no Brasil.
Thank you. I want to say thank you guys for inviting me to be on this podcast. I hear a lot about the sport in Brazil and the podcasts and bodybuilding in general. It exploded in the last, I would say, 5-6 years, and I'm really happy to see that the sport finally get its recognition in Brazil, and that Brazil is representing with some great athletes and some future Mr. Olympias. So I'm glad to be here. Good talking to you. It's always good to see you, my man.
Bom te ver também, cara. É quase uma obrigação a gente te trazer aqui. Eu acho que tu tem um pedaço do brasileiro dentro de ti aí. 2012 a gente teve a oportunidade de trabalhar juntos na probiótica e fizemos muitas coisas juntos e é engraçado porque 12 anos se passaram, cara, o tempo passou voando. E o cenário brasileiro, o fisiculturismo brasileiro também mudou, né? Mudou muito de lá para cá. E eu já queria começar te perguntando, né? Tu que viveu essa época lá no Brasil e está vivendo isso aqui hoje também. Como que o americano, como que o pessoal aqui nos Estados Unidos enxerga o fisiculturismo brasileiro? A gente já é considerado uma potência. A gente já tem aí o Ramondino, o Rafael Brandão, Rossi... alguns outros bons atletas, a Franciele Matos, a Isa Pereira, a Angélica, a Isa, desculpa se eu estiver esquecendo mais alguém, enfim, Diogo Montenegro, Kaique, enfim, a gente tem aí um exército de bodybuilders, e eu queria saber qual é a visão de vocês aqui fora, diante do fisiculturismo brasileiro, dos atletas brasileiros.
Number one in Brazil is what I always am very impressed by is I'm most impressed by the support of the Brazilian fans, not only to the sport but especially to the Brazilian competitors. And I mean, it started with guys like you, Correa. You basically paved the way for some of these guys now, Ramon, Rafael, everybody you just mentioned. You paved the way. You're one of the guys that paved the way for the sport to get big in Brazil. So you are, I think, a very, very big part of this. And it's easier for Brazilian fans to support their athletes if their athletes do really well. And Brazil is showing it every year. I mean, we have multi-Olympia champions, and we have people that are about to win the Olympia. You know, it's just a matter of time, and that's why it's a lot easier now to support these guys because you know you support winners. And
só um minuto, just one second. Tá cortando o som dele para ela lá e ela tá com dificuldade de traduzir. Dá uma olhadinha aí, por favor. No, she can't hear you.
She can't hear me? Okay, so maybe I should speak some Portuguese.
Ok. Vai lá, pode continuar.
Okay. So, I don't know, what's the last thing you heard me saying? Yeah, so it's the amount of support that the Brazilians have for their athletes is just unmatched. I think there's no other country in the world other than maybe Iran who supports Hadi where the fans are so behind their athletes. And it's already very well known for everybody to not say anything crazy about any Brazilian because you will get internet attacked and killed from the Brazilian fans, which I absolutely like, and that's why I'm glad it is what it is, and the amount of support is just unmatched. So I think that the sport will get even better because there will be a time where there will be multiple Olympia champions at the same time, taking the crown back to Brazil, and it's just a matter of time. And I can't wait to see how much bigger it can get.
Denis, você é um cara que foi muito famoso no Brasil na minha época, por causa do seu tamanho, um dos maiores do Olímpia. Eu, como treinador, sempre gostei muito de acompanhar seus treinos. Teve uma época que você estava treinando muita gente boa, então eu sempre estava acompanhando. E mais recentemente, você voltou a ficar muito famoso para a nova geração, depois do Jorlan comentar como era a disciplina na sua casa, falando inclusive do Spike, do seu cachorro, que tinha um horário para fazer cardio, e isso ficou muito famoso no Brasil. Então o pessoal fala muito aqui no chat, falando do cachorro do Dennis James, mas a pergunta é sobre essa disciplina. O Jorlan, quando fala de você, ele fala que o que ele mais aprendeu com você foi a disciplina exata de horário e tudo mais. Eu queria que você falasse um pouco sobre isso, sobre a importância disso na preparação de um atleta e na preparação das pessoas que treinam e também não são atletas, mas que precisam dar importância a isso.
Okay. I am a very big believer in practice what you preach. And everything that I expect another athlete to do that I help is what I did myself. And that's probably the German part in me because I'm half German. And everything I was organized. I would never train at a different time. My times were always the same. It doesn't matter if I would eat, my meals were always exactly on time. I could be in the middle of the Autobahn, the freeway, and I would pull over to eat. So those are the things that I just told myself back then. If you want to do it, you got to do it 100%. You never know how good you're going to get, but if you don't give 100%, you cannot expect 100%. So therefore, I have that discipline, and I still have it today with other stuff that I do. And I just think it's sometimes when you help a guy and you expect him to give you 100%, and they only do 50. And then it's a waste of time, not only on his level, but also on my part, where I'm trying to, when you see a talent in athletes, and as a trainer, you know this yourself, you want to make sure he gets there the fastest way possible. And that's only possible if you do everything and you put the combination together where you benefit from everything that you do. It starts with sleeping, it starts with eating on time, it starts with training. And it's not only 1 week where you give everything and then 2-3 weeks you just relax. You got to stay on top of everything. And that was always my philosophy, 100% or nothing.
Quando o Big Ramy foi campeão, ele ficou a reta final da preparação na sua casa. E isso foi um dos diferenciais? Ele já tinha todo esse cuidado ou você colocou isso na rotina dele?
Oh yeah, no, he's not even close to what I do. So that's why he was happy to be with me, but he tried to push it out as far as he could because he knew it in my house everything is on time. There's no, there's no left or right, everything is straight. So he didn't like my discipline too much, but I always told him, I said, you'll see and you'll understand when you put it all together. And when he won the Olympia in 2020, that's when he realized, he says, and now I understand what it means to give 100%, because it will pay off eventually.
Eu tô aqui para provar isso porque eu competi o Arnold Classic em 2012 e depois eu competi o Flex Pro em 2012 e depois eu fiquei 2 semanas na casa do Dennis em Phoenix para fazer o Arnold Classic na categoria Open. E eu tive a oportunidade de ficar lá durante esse tempo e a gente treinou junto todos os dias e foi... eu lembro que na preparação a gente tem muita dificuldade de dormir, a gente dorme pouco, eu acordava às 5h30, no máximo 6 horas da manhã, aí eu descia na cozinha, eles já estavam acordados, o Denis já estava fazendo cardio, a esposa dele já estava preparando o café, o negócio já estava funcionando, sabe? E era todos os dias iguais, E era uma rotina 24 horas, assim, bodybuilding 24 horas, e ele já não estava mais competindo. É assim ainda, Denis?
Yeah. It still works like that, yes. And I still have the same routine, even though I don't have anybody at my house, but it's me and my wife. We do the same thing. And I want to tell you guys a funny story. It's about Jolan. I love Jolan. Everybody needs to know I love Jolan. But I'm so strict that when Jolan stayed with me before the Arnold in Columbus, you know, he has his room. Eduardo know what room he had. He had his own room. And, you know, and I usually don't invite any privacy, but one day I went in his room to do something, and I saw he had his clothes everywhere on the floor. I had to set him straight. I said, listen, this belongs to me being, you know, 100%. I said, clean this room up. I'm kind of like a drill sergeant, I guess. But on a side note is, Jolan was one of the only guys, I think was the only guy that I could not break. And I broke everybody. Even though, you know, this guy, it has nothing to do with strength. It has something to do with heart. And Jolan, I got to say, he has a huge heart. And he would come back, I think you could cut his leg off, he would come back and squat with you. But Jolan, keep your room clean, man. Come on.
Eu arrumava o quarto todos os dias. O Denis entrava lá, estava impecável, falei.
Yes. But you had Carol with you, so you weren't alone.
É verdade. Denis, tu falou do Big Ram, tu tem falado com ele? Eu nunca mais ouvi falar sobre quais os planos dele, tu sabe, para a competição esse ano?
Yeah, you know, I haven't really spoken to him much since I saw him in November. So I couldn't tell you what his plans are. And but from what I heard, I think he wants to come back in 2024, but I'm not 100% sure, so I wouldn't want to make any announcements or anything, because I'll leave that up to him.
Uhum. Tá bom. Vamos começar falando da categoria Classic. Hoje foi a pesagem. Ramon pesou 102 e alguma coisa, aproximadamente 225 libras. E agora ele já fez 3 refeições. Eu acabei de sair do quarto dele. Vocês viram aí no vídeo da Maxitânio, o Cris, ele teve uma perda pessoal e familiar e ele teve que voltar para casa. Então eu estou indo 2, 3, 4, 5 vezes por dia no quarto do Ramon. Eu acabei de sair de lá, inclusive. Ele fez 3 refeições, ele está cada refeição melhor, ele sobe amanhã. E eu queria falar um pouquinho da Classic com vocês. Tu acha que tem alguém aí que pode ameaçar os planos do Ramon? O line-up está aí na tela, te ajudar.
Yeah, I mean, Ramon is two-time runner-up at the Olympia the last 2 years. He won the Arnold this year, so he's, of course, the high favorite going into this show. And if I look at the lineup, and I have to see, is there anybody that can challenge him? Yeah, everybody can challenge him, but is there anybody who's seriously a challenge for him for this title, then I would only say Urs is the only one that comes the closest to Ramon at this point. Now, I'm talking about what Ramon looked like last year, because I don't know what he's going to look like this year, but from what I hear, what you say is he's going to be improved. And it's going to be hard for anybody to beat him, because, like I said, he is the champion from last year. He is, on paper, the highest ranking guy in this lineup. And unless something goes really bad, it's going to be very hard for him to lose this show.
Quais as características no Urs que tu acha que são ameaçadoras pro Ramon?
I think Urs is a guy, because he's tall. I think Urs is closer to Chris than to Ramon. I think if Chris wouldn't be Mr. Olympia, it would be way harder for anybody. But since Chris is Mr. Olympia, and I think that Urs structure is closer to Chris, you know, but it's just Ramon just got so much better in the last couple of years. I remember when he placed his first Olympia, I think it was 4th or 5th. And then he came back, was a changed person, and then he got second 2 years in a row. So he challenged Chris literally last year, neck on neck. And I remember saying that when we looked at those guys, the last call out, I said, what if you switch heads? Who would win? If you put Chris's head on Ramon's body, I think Ramon would win. So that saying means that, I mean, Ramon is literally right there. And like I said, Urs is the one who challenges him the most. But Urs needs a little bit more size for Ramon. I think Ramon is just bigger. And now you said he was 112?
Não. 100 quilos, 102 e alguma. Ele tem que bater 103 quilos. Ele estava um pouquinho abaixo de 103.
Okay. I was just about to say 112. He said he would be way over his limit. Okay, so he's 102. No. I think last year at the Olympia he weighed in at 101. So he's going to be right there at his limit. His limit is 103.
Sim.
Yeah, so he's right there, and I think if he brings the condition that he had last year at the Arnold, his condition was a standout, you know. And I don't see anybody. I don't see him getting beat. I really don't see it. Unless Urs comes in and is major improved.
Essa foto é dele ontem. Ele transformou o peito de lado, na minha opinião, numa das melhores poses dele. Ele aumentou muito o posterior de coxa. A perna de lado dele está impressionante, está maior e mais cortada. O peitoral está muito cheio. E eu acho hoje a principal pose do Ramon, de tantas poses que ele tem, de repertório que ele tem de poses, peito de lado, uma das poses mais fortes que ele tem hoje.
This was yesterday, you said?
Sim.
So this was before he weighed in?
Before the weigh.
So
sim.
He didn't really eat?
No, yes.
Okay, so yeah, sim. I mean, you can already see that his chest is improving because his chest was a little bit on the flatter side. But now, I mean, yeah,
sim.
his side leg and his arms, shoulders is striated. I mean, he looks very white though. He needs some more color.
Sim. Mas ele já fez uma mão de tinta.
It's time for color, but no, he looks unbelievable. Yeah, this is what you look like. This is what you want to look like the day before a show, knowing you're the champ. Because I mean, if the champ is on, who's going to beat that? I don't think anybody's going to beat it.
O Ramon, ele impressiona com isso.
I gotta say, hold on one second, I'm sorry. But I gotta say, I had Urs on the podcast last week. And he's very confident that his new package will be very hard to deal with too. So he thinks he's winning the Arnold. On a side note, if you place second behind someone, of course, your only goal is to win. Nobody wants to come to get second. So it's going to be a nice prejudging tomorrow. I can't wait to see it.
Cara, eu acho que essa tem que ser a mentalidade. Eu acho que a maior forma de tu mostrar respeito pelo adversário, eu sempre falo isso, é trazer a tua melhor versão e estar confiante de que tu fez isso. Ele tem uma declaração que ele falou que 4 pontos que ele acha que ele é superior a Ramon. Ele falou que tem um físico mais detalhado, as poses e a apresentação. Isso é ele falando sobre ele, né? As pernas melhores que o Ramon e uma linha melhor. Eu acredito que ele tem boas poses, uma boa apresentação. A linha, realmente, ele tem uma linha muito boa. Eu só não acredito que ele possa trazer um físico talvez mais detalhado e as pernas eu não acho que seja o ponto forte dele, mas eu acho que ele fez um discurso aí condizente com o que ele vai trazer aí.
Acho que isso é difícil de superar o Ramon. A evolução que ele consegue colocar num curto espaço de tempo. Se as pessoas analisarem quando ele ganhou a vaga, que foi o primeiro show pro dele, que foi na Europa, semanas depois ele colocou uma evolução incrível para o primeiro Olímpia. Aí já foi uma evolução muito incrível pro primeiro Ohio. Aí uma evolução maior ainda para o Olímpia. Ano que vem, ano passado, ganhou o raio. Para o Olímpia, uma nova evolução. E desse último Olímpia para agora, ele já vai colocar uma evolução muito grande. Então eu acho que isso faz um impacto muito grande ali em todos. Porque é uma evolução muito grande em um curto espaço de tempo. É algo absurdo.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And what stood out to me last year, because I do the broadcasting, the live broadcasting for the Honor, which is actually free, by the way, this year for everybody who want to watch. You guys can watch the live broadcast for free all 2 days at the Arnold. And what stood out to me last year is that Ramon looks very, very polished. He looks like when you can wash a car, but you can polish the color, and it just stands out. And that's a major difference in my eyes. He looked more polished than anybody else on that stage, And if he can bring a little bit more size and keeps that polished look, it's future Mr. Olympia also. But I said the same to Urs. He said, "You are future Mr. Olympia. It's just a matter of time." I'm not saying it's now. It's a matter of time. Urs is 25. Ramon is only 29. They have so many more years. They're still getting better. They're not even peaking, not even close to peaking yet. So I think it's either Ramon or Urs. I don't see anybody, to be honest, I don't see anybody that's going to slide in and upset the card or, Breon Ansley, a former 2-time Mr. Classic Physique Olympia, but I don't think he is. I don't think this is what they're looking for no more. It's just, even though he has a great physique, probably the best back double biceps in the whole lineup, but there's such something where these younger guys just, they're just more polished.
Sim. Quem se beneficiou muito com a mudança o novo ajuste de peso foi o Michael Dabu, né? Ele conseguiu adicionar um pouco mais de volume e ele deixou o físico dele um pouco mais completo, na minha visão, assim. Ele foi dos atletas que se beneficiou mais com isso. Mas também a gente não pode esquecer do Wesley Vissers também, tá aí nesse line-up, a gente também não sabe o que ele pode trazer. Mas eu concordo com o Dennis, eu acho que...
I know exactly. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Mas eu acho que existe aí uma diferença um pouco grande entre o Urs e o Ramon, talvez, para os demais.
Yeah. It's not a... Well, they make it out to be a two-man show, which it is, because 1 and 2 is always a two-man show, but I would say this year to look out for Wesley. Wesley, in my eyes, has one of the most classic physiques out there. And when I say that, I say this with all due respect to everybody else, but I mean, when we look at classic, while classic physique was created to go back in the golden era of classic bodybuilding. And I think when we judge physiques by back in the day, Wesley comes the closest. Tall. I mean, he doesn't have the flow than let's say Ramon, but he poses exactly the way they used to pose to hide weaknesses and emphasize their strength. And I think Wesley, with the condition that he's bringing right now, I definitely see him in the top 3. I don't see him anywhere less than 4th if they give Breon the 3rd place. But Wesley, I think, will be the biggest surprise tomorrow.
O que tu acha que falta para o Wesley Vissers poder bater de frente? Um pouco mais de tamanho, talvez?
Yeah, because he's a very tall guy. He's very tall, and when you have long limbs, it's harder to get that look that these guys have now. Look at Ramon or Urs or some of the other guys. They're full, round. Just like smaller bodybuilders with more classic poses. Wesley is still classic with the smaller legs because he have long legs, and therefore I think it's just the trend is shifting a little bit towards, like Chris Bumstead, Ramon, and Urs. It's going to be hard for Wesley to win a show like this, this magnitude. I mean, smaller shows, yes, but I think the show like Arnold or the Olympia is going to be very hard for Wesley. And we see it every year when he places at the Olympia. He qualifies because he wins smaller shows, but at the Olympia, I don't think he ever made top 5 or top 6.
Então a gente tem Ramon e Urs, top 1 e top 2. Wesley, top 3. Quem estaria dentro do seu top 5, Denis?
Okay, I got Wesley and Brian top 3 and 4. And then it's hard. Yeah, Michael, I gotta give, because the condition of Michael you just can't ignore. He doesn't have the most pleasing physique, but he's probably is the most conditioned guy on stage. But also look out for yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I got to give it to Michael. Michael, I got to put him in the top 5.
Eu também colocaria ele no top 5, até por não muito pelo meu gosto pessoal, mas eu vejo que os árbitros sempre têm uma tendência a gostar dele e incluir ele no grupo ali, né?
Eu vi ele na academia essa semana, me chamou a atenção pela condição, sempre chama, mas ele está bem maior, achei ele volumoso. Então também estaria dentro do meu top 5.
Yeah, and crazy condition is just always a standout. That was always your strength. The condition. I mean, when you stand next to guys that are in shape and you make them look like they're smooth, that means something.
E o Arnold Classic é um campeonato que privilegia atletas que posam bem, que se apresentam bem, né? Então eu acho que isso pode ser também um fator determinante nessa briga aí por colocações, né?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they judge the posing round in Classic. It's possible. I know they do the Open, but they judge it for the Best Poser Award.
Sim.
So I don't think if somebody poses a little bit better than the other guy, and that makes a huge difference in placings. But it always helps. I mean, if you can show your physique to the best of your ability, and you make, like you said, you hide weaknesses and show your strength, it's going to help you a little bit. But listen, who's going for the Best Poser Award? People go for the first place. You know, Best Poser Award is just the cherry on top. You know, I want to win the show.
Eu sempre achei que o melhor posador, o prêmio de melhor posador, ele era dado como uma espécie de prêmio consolação. Mas às vezes acontece de ganhar o melhor posador e o título também, né? Já aconteceu.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Denis, a gente está falando sobre a Classic. Eu vou pedir para ele colocar um cara aí. É um atleta meu, ele foi 13º no Olímpia do ano passado. E eu queria a sua opinião do que a gente deveria fazer com esse cara para ele estar posições mais altas esse ano no Olímpia.
It's always very hard to judge athletes when it comes to size and stuff when they're standing by themselves. So it's easier when you see him in the lineup to really, because right now by himself, I mean, he could probably be a little bit bigger. I don't know where his weight limit is, and if he's at his limit, he's got 4 kilos left.
4 kilos.
Yeah, so he needs to fill out his frame. He needs to fill out his frame and keep the aesthetics that he has right now. Condition is great.
Ele é muito novo, Denis. Quantos anos?
This could be another one, like.
Quantos anos o Zanca?
26. 26 anos.
26. So another young kid. I started training when I was 26. These guys are already on the Olympia stage. So he could be another guy like Ramon who just improved so much that he's in the next 2-3 years, he could be fighting for the title too. You know, I can see that happening. Because what did Ramon look like the first time he competed in the pro shows or in the Olympia when he got 5th? You know, it was similar to him. he made his leaps and he made changes after that, because the motivational kick you get from placing in the top 5 of the Olympia is something that you can't buy anywhere. You know, that's a motivation. I remember the year you got second at the Olympia. What that motivation that you had from then on for the next year, you can't buy that in no store. Because when you're that close, you think, I can win this thing.
Sim.
Ele tem 26 anos, já vai para o quarto Olímpia, já está qualificado para o Olímpia desse ano. E temos aí 4 quilos para trabalhar dentro do limite de peso ainda.
Yeah. His back might need a little bit improvement. His back.
Parte baixa das costas. As costas como um todo, mas principalmente a parte baixa.
Yeah, especially, yes, back as a whole, but mainly low. I think if he uses the 4 kilos that he has to gain, if he puts them in the right spots, he's perfect. I like him. I like his shape. I like his condition. Definitely like his hamstrings. Yeah, he reminds me of a Ramon in the beginning. There's a lot of athletes coming from Brazil that we don't even know about. I have a feeling that in the next 5 years, there's going to be so many more coming out of Brazil. It's going to be not even funny.
Denis, eu tenho um show no Brasil chamado Eduardo Correa Classic, e ano passado nós tivemos 800 atletas, 800. E em uma das show amador. E em uma das categorias Classic nós tivemos 46 atletas. Então a categoria Classic é uma categoria que está crescendo muito pela essa identidade que as pessoas têm com os meninos novos. Como tu mesmo disse, eles estão no Olímpia na mesma idade que tu tinha praticamente começado a treinar. Então Ramon, Gabriel Zancanelli, esses caras inspiram muito essa nova geração de praticantes. Então a gente vê a categoria Classic no Brasil tomando proporções gigantescas. Eu acho que é só uma questão de tempo para a gente ver esses meninos saindo assim, aparecendo para o mundo, sabe?
Yeah. Because like I said, in the last, let's say 10 years, the more knowledge came to Brazil. Because in the beginning, they didn't know, they didn't know. So that's why I said you play a big part of this. Ramon plays a huge part of the competitive numbers, especially in Classic, because everybody wants to be like Ramon, or because they think he can do it, so can I. He's showing the world that it's possible. It's possible. You don't have to come from a rich family and from a rich home, and you don't have to have everything in order to be one of the best in the world, and that's why I think this is going to explode.
Sim.
Esse show que o Eduardo tem no Brasil, no ano retrasado, o menino que foi o campeão overall, num show seguinte ganhou o Procard dele, e no final do ano disputou o show de 212 que teve no Brasil com o Correa. Ficou os dois e a disputa foi esses dois caras.
Yeah. How fast he goes. Next thing you know, he's going to beat you. You know what I'm saying? But this is what you want.
Sim,
You want these guys to come up. You want these guys to be better, because it helps everybody. It helps the whole country. It helps everybody. So it's literally awesome to see what you guys put together. Even this podcast now. I mean, who has this idea to go to the Arnold, different country, and set up this whole setup just to keep the fans in Brazil up to date and in the loop with everything that's happening around this weekend? That shows me that you guys also appreciate the fans, because without the fans, none of this would be possible.
Sim.
So this is a huge thanks to all the Brazilian fans. Keep supporting the athletes. Keep supporting the guys like Eduardo and him, and keep everything alive and make this even better. And I'm sure that one day we'll have Mr. Olympia in each individual category, and then bring me back to Brazil, please.
Arthur, coloca pra gente o banner line-up da categoria Open do Arnold Classic. É o que está escrito Arnold Classic, por favor. Vamos falar dos big guys agora. Vamos falar do... E tu falou uma coisa que é legal, que o Rossi e o Rafa, inclusive, eles treinam juntos, eles são melhores amigos. E não é por isso que eles não vão brigar em cima do palco pelo título. E isso que é legal, é isso que a gente quer ver, né? Eu acho que... Eu sempre falo que... Eu acho que a gente só perde para nós mesmos. Então, acho que o brasileiro aí está dando exemplo de como que a união do esporte faz a diferença. E a gente tem, pela primeira vez na história, a gente tem 2 Opens brasileiros competindo junto, né? E vamos falar um pouquinho... Eu queria começar perguntando para o Denis a respeito do Rossi. Cara, o Rossi, ele estreou na Romênia, ele fez uma preparação com o Milos. Ele tentou competir na Classic alguns anos antes, ele não conseguiu bater o peso, ele teve que desistir no dia do show, ele não passou pela pesagem, e aí ele resolveu ir para a Open. O pessoal estava meio assim, porque achou que ele tinha perdido tempo demais e tudo mais. De repente ele anunciou que ia para a Open. O Rossi é um cara muito... Ele tem esse jeito extrovertido, ele é um personagem mesmo, né? Quem conhece o Rossi. E muita gente acabou não levando muito a sério esse papo de eu vou para a Open e tal. Ele chegou na Romênia, ele simplesmente bugou a cabeça de todo mundo, ele colou do lado do Samson Dauda, que tinha acabado de ficar em terceiro no Olímpia, ele mostrou muita personalidade nas poses, ele mostrou um físico incrível, as pernas incríveis, alguns pontos a ser melhorados. E, cara, é o tipo de cara que eu não duvido absolutamente nada dele. Então, por isso que eu queria começar falando dele. O que a gente pode esperar do Rossi aí nesse line-up aí? Será que pode ser uma surpresa?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned him first, because he was the one that I didn't even have on my radar until after Romania, because I really never even paid attention to Horse. I just didn't know who's Horse. Who names himself Horse? And then I asked, and I don't know who I asked. Somebody told me. And Milos is the one who told me. What's so funny? He said his nickname Horse, they name him Horse because of his humongous legs. That's what Milos told me. That's what Milos thought. And then when I had Rafael on the podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago, I asked him, I said, where did he get the nickname from? He said, because he used to take horse creatine. That's why he got the nickname Horse. I said, okay, that makes a lot more sense. But getting back to what you said, I mean, they're best friends. The friendship will end as soon as they line up backstage. That friendship is out the window for 15 minutes. They will be great friends again after the show or after prejudging, but that 15 minutes, they're fighting for who's beating who, because we both have to return back to Brazil, and it's all about bragging rights, because I guarantee you, Rafael don't want to lose to Marcelo, and Marcelo want to beat Rafael 100%. Mm-hmm. And it should be this way too. So now, when I look at Marcelo, I see a great physique. If I have to knock on him a little bit, it's his back. I don't see a back where he could, especially in the open in bodybuilding. We know in the open it's a little bit different. You have to turn around and you're going to have to show your back double biceps. And that's the only pose where I think he loses. Not only to Rafael, I think he loses to a few more guys in the back double biceps pose. Now, lat spread, again, totally different ballgame. And I'm pointing this out because, not to put him down, I had the same problem. My lat spread was great. My back double bicep was shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just, and I tried everything you try, and it just, and I don't know if it is because he can't put on the muscle or he can't show it. He doesn't hit the pose right. I'm not sure what his problem is, but I'm sure if he can fix it, he will catapult himself into being a top guy in any show he enters. But for right now, I still have him in the top 5. I still have him in the top 5. As much as I want to look at these other guys and give them the respect who've been there for so long, he's just that good, So I don't have him beating Rafael. And I'll tell you, because I think Rafael will be much improved. We always say about Rafael that, his shape, his lines is beautiful. He was just always a little bit too small. If he can fill out his frame, Rafael is a very, very dangerous person. And I saw some pictures of Rafael, and I know this was after training, the most muscular in the gym. That was a good Rafael. So now, if he can bring that fullness to the stage, with the lines that he has and the condition that he normally brings, I think he's fighting. He's fighting Hardy.
Eu encontrei o Rafael na academia no Brasil, faltando mais ou menos 2 semanas para a gente viajar. E ele estava 8 quilos mais pesado do que faltando 2 semanas para o último Mr. Olímpia dele, que foi em 2022. Então ele teve uma melhora bem significativa, só que o mais curioso é que ele conseguiu manter a linha dele, a linha de cintura dele, parece que está ainda mais apertada, porque eu acho que ele conseguiu adicionar massa no lugar certo, então isso deixou ele ainda mais impressionante. Eu também acho que o físico do Rafa hoje ele é mais completo que o do Rossi, até porque o Rafa já vem trabalhando isso há mais tempo. As pernas são incríveis também, mas eu acho que a dorsal melhorou muito, o peito do Rafa melhorou muito, e o que poderia ser talvez uma maior deficiência do Rafael, dos braços, melhoraram muito. Então acho que ele trouxe um físico mais preenchido, só que a gente ainda não teve a oportunidade de ver ele do lado da nova versão do Samson Dauda também, que quando eles competiram, acho que foi na Romênia, o Samson Dauda ainda não tinha tido aquele pulo, aquela evolução, então vai ser a primeira vez que a gente vai ter a oportunidade de ver eles, mas eu consigo ver também o Rafa brigando ali pelas primeiras colocações.
Yeah, I do predictions every week for the last 12 weeks, and I had Hardy winning every week until my last prediction last week. And I'll tell you guys why, and I said this on my podcast too, but I believe that Hardy will be coming in condition like we used to see him, because Hardy was not the same. Even though he won the Olympia and he got second last year, Hardy was not the same Hardy that we know, because from the back, he wasn't as good as from the front. And I remember Hardy was front to back, top to bottom, peeled throughout. And I think he has to bring that to the Arnold in order to be able to win this show. Now, Samson, he's got the size, he's got the flow, he's got the aesthetics. He never really brought the condition that he needs in order to beat a guy like Hardy. That's why he never beat Hardy before. But from what I've seen from Samson, his condition is so much better than it was. I mean, what I saw. I don't know about tomorrow. I mean Saturday. I mean tomorrow night. Yes. But what I realized, what I saw from Hardy, is that in the last year or two, he tried. For me, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this. It just got a little bit too big for his height, and it shows in the waist, which was his very strong part for many years. His brutal, tight waist and abs. It just right now it looks a little bit like it expanded just a little bit and threw off his flow. It's not the same. He doesn't have the nicest physique anyways, but now it looks like, and I was one of those guys, and there's a lot of others that just try to get too big for their height, and it just goes backwards in the end. So I don't know. I hope maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just pictures that I see or videos. But that's what it looked like to me. There's a lot of other people that think the same. And therefore, I changed my prediction to Samson winning the Arnold this year.
E tu não acha que isso é agravado pelo fato de ele pegar 3 caras aí, o Samson, o Rossi e o Rafa, com cinturas pequenas e um físico mais harmonioso? Talvez ele seria o cara que vai destoar desse grupo aí.
Well, listen, if he comes in lighter, I'm talking about Hardy. If he comes in lighter than he was at the Olympia, I mean like 5 kilos lighter.
Tu lembra dele na versão Vancouver Pro 2019?
Yes. That's why I'm saying what I'm just saying. If he comes in 5 kilos lighter, super peeled, where he's going to make everybody look smooth, I think he would he had a better chance than coming blown up. I just don't think that this is going to help him next to guys like Samson and Rafael. You know, I mean, he might be able to keep Rafael away because he's still Mr. Olympia and the highest favorite going into the show. But, you know, if he stands in between them guys, you'll see, it's apple and oranges. You like aesthetic with enough fullness and enough condition, or you're going for that hardcore, super grainy look, but not so pleasing. You know, it's up to the judges, and I just don't see him overcoming Samson, because he's running up the hill so fast, and it's just I think it's going to be just too much for him. But like I said, a lot of things can happen in the last 24 hours. We all know that. So we know that Hart is going to be conditioned, that's for sure. So we just have to see if everybody else can bring what they show in pictures, because we all know pictures is pictures, Instagram is Instagram. Now, I'm the first one who started progress pictures back in 2000. I was the first one when I lived in Thailand. I got ready for my first show, first Ironman back in 2000, and I was like, how can I create a hype in the US, because I'm so far away from the sport in Thailand? I said, let me show some pictures every week. I got nice pumps in the gym. I took some pictures outside and I sent them out on the internet. I had everybody talk about, whoa, what the hell is happening? But you got to bring this to the stage. Now, a nice full pump after workout is not the pump you get when you're backstage. You know, it's not like you're coming out of the gym, you're full with water and so it's a little different. So it's okay to show, but if you show too much, and if you choose the picture that look the best, because you can take 100 pictures of the same pose, and one looks like you're 20 pounds heavier. How's that? You know, the right angle. No, post this. Don't do that. It's going to hunt you. Most of the time, it's going to hurt you, because people expect you to come out looking like you do in the pictures and the videos. So I think we're in for a treat. I think there's going to be probably one of the better Arnolds in the last 10 years. Because it's really, really good competition. And even though there's only, 4, 8, 11 guys, I think the lineup is unbelievable. You know, it's only a Mr. Olympia like Derek missing, that's it. And maybe a Nick Walker, everybody else is on there.
Tu acha que o James Hollins, entre uma disputa dele e o Horse, quem tu acha que leva melhor e por quê?
Between Horse and James,
Yeah.
I think they're all in the top 5. I got James in the top 5 too.
James?
Yeah.
Eu vejo as pessoas falando muito dos mesmos atletas, mas eu quase não ouvi ninguém falar do Akin Williams. Cara, eu não sabia, eu fiquei sabendo hoje que o Chris estava ajudando ele, porque como o Chris foi embora, ele pediu para mim olhar. E assim, ele está pesando 260 pounds e ele está muito bem condicionado. Talvez ele seja o maior cara do palco. Muito volume. O Akin Williams. Tipo, achei
I can tell you right now, he's not going to be the biggest guy on stage if he's 260, because
No?
Samson is going to be like around 300.
Pelo menos as pernas dele estavam impressionantes.
I know, and this is his strong part. His legs is his strong part. His biceps is his strong part. He turns around, his back, double biceps. That's where he's losing. It's been happening the last years. It's not getting better. You're not getting something that's gone.
Ó,
You know, those are strong poses for Akin, but you're not going to show us your weak poses. You know, look at Samson. We not complain, but we criticize his back for years now, and he shows us the back every time, because he shows people. I said, this is what you criticize. Here, I'm going to show you that I'm getting better and getting better. So if Akin shows me a back double biceps and he has the full back again, he has kind of like that Rami syndrome. He loses the lower back; it's all gone. You know, so and you can't win a show like this with no back. I'm not talking lat spread. Lat spread, yeah. But I don't know if you looked at him already, Akin?
sim, eu concordo exatamente com o que está falando. De costas, ele está um pouquinho flat de costas e o duplo bíceps dele fica a desejar. O duplo bíceps de costas.
Yeah. That's yeah. And for that, I don't see him. Listen, can he be top 5? Absolutely. He has the tools, but I just don't see it happening. So one picture like this is not enough for me. He didn't show me enough in the last 10 weeks. I need to see more.
As costas do Akin, a gente sempre percebeu que faltava aquela parte baixa, e nos últimos anos a impressão que eu tenho é que piorou. Ao que se deve alguns atletas, algum ponto assim que parece que ao longo dos anos ele vai perdendo ativação?
Listen, it's never, when something like this happens, that means it wasn't your strong part to begin with. Okay? If you have a strong body part, I don't care how old you get, this will be the longest body part that's going to stay there, stay with you. He always had a back issue. His back double biceps was never strong. Now, once you go up in age and you start getting older, your body starts going backwards. And the weaker body parts is the first thing that's going to go. You know, so, and therefore I think that's why his back is going. And the front and all that stuff you can hold on longer, but what's weak is going to go first. And I think maybe age. I don't know how old he is, but I don't think he's that young. I'm not sure. How old is he?
Não sei.
Também não sei.
I think he's up there going on 40, maybe even over. I'm not sure.
E Denis, tu falou uma coisa que é crucial, na minha opinião, a evolução que o atleta mostra ao longo dos anos. Eu acho que muitas vezes o árbitro leva isso mais em consideração, até a comparação dele com ele mesmo, do que propriamente com o adversário. Essa evolução que tu precisa mostrar a evolução ao longo dos anos, né?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and like this pose, he always looks good, you know.
Não é isso.
But show us your weakness. We know what you look like from the front when you're great. So when you're in shape. So, but show us, has your back improved? You know. So we'll see. And Akim used to be the biggest guy on stage, but I think he's going to be outsized tomorrow.
Eu falo isso para meus atletas, às vezes algum atleta meu quer me impressionar, mas ele manda a pose que é muito boa. Eu falo, não é essa. Você tem que me impressionar com essa pose, aqui você é fraco. Essa que você precisa me impressionar.
Yeah, tell them send videos. Don't send poses, pictures. Send videos, because then they can't hide. Because you take 1,000 pictures and you choose the one. There you go. You know, so.
Denis, hoje os atletas se preparam com... Coloca a foto que o Rafa está fazendo mais musculoso. Não essa. Abre, desce, pode descer. Essa aqui, ó, do meio aqui, ó.
Yes, that's the picture. Yeah, that picture killed me.
Essa foto tá impressionante, né? O Rafael, eu perguntei para ele por que ele deixou o bigode. Ele falou que ele quer trazer o new old school para cima do palco. Ele quer mostrar, ele quer tentar resgatar aquilo que existia no passado e tentar trazer para o presente. Mas eu acho legal essa... Eu acho que isso mostra o quanto ele consegue ter a percepção do próprio físico. Ele consegue explorar aquilo que ele tem de melhor, porque ele sabe que ele tem uma linha bonita, os traços bonitos, e ele está tentando preservar essa linha e crescer em cima desse visual, né?
No, this is the picture where I said, wow. You know, it's probably after working out, so that's fine, but it's probably also not with the shitload of carbs, you know. So I think that if they play the cards correct, and Neil knows what he's doing, he's not a rookie. So I think that we will see the best Rafael, and therefore I have him no less than third, even challenging Hardy.
O Neil estava muito empolgado porque a reação do Neil no vídeo é muito engraçada. Ele fica gritando e falando, Rafa, você está muito cheio, é incrível. Porque o Neil fez um teste com o Rafa há 2 semanas atrás. Ele fez um pequeno teste, assim, ele simulou uma hiperidratação, depois ele fez uma depletação, depois ele encheu o Rafa. Então, só que ele disse que ele nem começou esse processo aqui e o Rafa já está muito melhor do que ele esperava que ele tivesse. Então, isso aí é sem nenhuma estratégia, isso aí é tomando muita água, muito hidratado, com sódio alto e com o carbo ainda baixo. Então, ele espera ver o Rafa ainda muito melhor.
I just hope they don't change anything now from today till tomorrow, because everything for me went fine until the night before, and the next day, I don't know, whatever went wrong, and then things change. Go to sleep and just take tomorrow just like today and don't do nothing else. I hope they can put it together.
Mas, Denis, tu não acha também que é interessante a gente pensar que o Rafa é um dos poucos atletas que não competiu no ano passado? A gente sabe que é muito desgastante para o cara competir o Olímpia e depois emendar uma preparação para o Arnold Classic. Praticamente Rossi competiu no final do ano, o Samson Dauda, o Harry, o James não, e o Rafa veio de um off praticamente de um ano. Então, talvez isso ajude também o corpo a ser mais responsivo agora nessa fase, né?
Well, it definitely helped Rafael. I mean, he needed to put on the size, and in order to put on quality size, you need time, and he did the right thing. I mean, it was exactly what he needed to do. Some people, they get better with shows, you know, like guys that already have the size that they need. They're just still trying to manage to figure out condition, you know. For them, it's sometimes more beneficial to compete more because you learn your body. With every show, you learn something new. And even if you don't learn much new things, you learn what you don't have to do in the future. So therefore, for some guys, it's good to compete more often. I think he did the right thing. He took some time off. He put on, you said 8 kilos. If he can keep 4 kilos till tomorrow, if he comes in, it's 4 kilos of muscle is a lot of muscle. And it will most likely be for him a breakout year.
O Milos falou que o Samson Dauda é um desses caras que ele gosta de evoluir competindo. Ele vem mostrando evolução, se mantendo competindo. Ele não faz grandes offs assim. Ele fala que nunca tem off. Tu, Denis, tu era o cara que gostava de competir. Tu mostrava uma evolução competindo, porque eu puxava tanto no show que quando eu fazia 2, 3 shows eu já estava caindo assim.
Yeah, but for me back then it was different because we had the Arnold and we had the Olympia, and after each show in early season we had a tour in Europe. After the Arnold we would leave the next week and we tour in Europe. We do 4 shows, 5 shows, like back to back to back, and we do the same thing after the Olympia. And we all did it. So this was just, you're a professional bodybuilder. You train, you eat, you do all these things for you to be in shape and to get on stage. And you don't really learn your body unless you get on stage. You need stage experience. And I tell this to a lot of guys. Off season is good if you need size. If you don't need the size, you know, compete, you know. And like I said, if you have 2 seasons, it's harder to do the Arnold and then come back for the Night of Champions or the New York Pro now and then do back in later shows. That's crazy on the body. But once you're in shape and you can stay in shape for 4 or 5 weeks, of course, nobody stays the same. We get it, you know, some people get a little worse, but then again, some people don't nail it in the Arnold. And they get better in the shows after the Arnold, you know. It happened all the time. I remember losing to Chris at the Arnold. I got 3rd, he got 2nd, and the next week I beat him in Hungary. You know, those are things that happen. You know, some people, they take it easier, some people stay strict. And, you know, I feel they should bring that back to give the guys not only, you know, a chance to compete, but also a chance to make money. You know, this is all about, you know, at least get the money back that you invest, because bodybuilding is expensive. You know, we all know that. And, you know, I'm not saying you should compete every show there is, but I think if you're in shape and there's shows like literally week, do it. Take advantage.
Ô, Denis, eu tá falando uma coisa, estou pensando aqui. Hoje os atletas têm o iPhone 15 para mandar foto e vídeo. Eu peguei a época do BlackBerry. E tu fazia como? Como que tu fazia?
I tell you what I did. I did a photo camera, and then get on the computer, dial up, ding, 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 ding. It took me 45 minutes to upload 1 picture. There was no social media. There was none of this. So it was. That's why we took the sport way more serious. When I see people in the gym, and I'm not talking about just gym goers. I'm talking about athletes, professional athletes. You go to the gym to train. You should not have your phone in your hand. I don't care if it's in between sets. You should not even worry about your phone. But social media is so important. And today, and I hate it. It's this stupid tripods. Everybody is filming himself training. I'm not talking about pros. I'm not talking about any social media influencer with millions of followers who need to put content out for their followers and make money with it. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about fat, ugly, skinny, no people that have nothing to do with anything, that put videos out every day for 30 views and can't stop. This pisses me off. If I would open a gym, I swear to God, and I hope a lot of people might not like what I'm saying right now, there would be one rule in the front of the gym. There would be a sign, crossed, no tripods. I don't want anybody, and I think Tony Dodd is the first one who followed this through now, who stopped, because it's getting out of hand. I mean, there's people that say, what are you looking for? What are you filming? So their mind is not in what you're trying to achieve with working out. Their mind is just to create videos and show themselves bench pressing with 2 jackets on and a t-shirt underneath so they look big, and that's basically it. Yeah, that would stop with me. I would shoot people.
Uma das coisas que se perdeu um pouco, que era bem legal, inclusive foi tu que me falou uma vez, que a cultura de comprar uma fotos autografadas, existia muito, né, antigamente. E hoje se perdeu um pouco por conta do celular, né?
We used to make so much money.
É?
Oh, we had the FIBO in Germany, as an example. We sell this 8x10 pictures. You remember the pictures, you remember? We sell them for 10 euros. And we would sell like thousands of pictures over the 3-4 days, sometimes 4,000 pictures. And that was cash money, Mm-hmm. And then they started with them damn phones with the camera in them. And now people want to take a camera. So in the beginning, we said, okay, you can take a picture if you buy a picture. And then we did that. So you buy one, you can take one with your own phone. And then the sponsors is what they messed that up for the athletes, because the sponsors started to print pictures with their athletes and the sponsor logo on there, and then you have to give them out for free, and this is where we are today. Mm-hmm. So thanks to the sponsors for taking that away from us. At least pay the athletes more so they can make that money back somehow.
Mas eu acho que também o celular trouxe muitas coisas boas, porque a nossa imagem acaba se propagando, a gente acaba conseguindo fazer mais dinheiro do que as fotos, né? Mas eu acho que se perdeu um pouco da pessoalidade, do carinho, do contato com o fã. Hoje, muitas vezes, a pessoa ela tira uma foto, posta no Stories, a gente levava a foto para casa. Eu lembro que no meu primeiro Olímpia, em 2002, acho que foi até o melhor resultado até hoje. Tu ficou em top 3, 2002 ou 2003?
At the Olympia?
É.
Mine was fourth in 2003.
Four. Eu lembro que eu comprei uma foto do Dexter Jackson, do Kevin Levrone, do Jay Cutler, e eu tenho as fotos até hoje autografadas. Então isso é uma coisa muito legal de guardar, né?
I mean, cell phones is a good thing. Like I said, you can update people, but it's also a downside to the cell phones, in social media, because back then you could go somewhere and can tell people you're somewhere else. Now you can't do that no more. You get caught quicker than a bitch. Now I can't even. Every time now, FaceTime is what messed it all up for me. Because now every time I go to sleep at the hotel, I got to call home first and show the room, make sure there's nobody in the room. Yeah.
E, Denis, você falou do Hadi, do Dauda, do Rafa. Queria saber o teu top 5 e o primeiro lugar, né? Hadi ou Dauda?
I have Samson winning. And I'm going off of what I said. But listen, guys, I could be wrong. You know, I'm wrong a lot. This is just how I feel. And just something just tells me, you know, that Samson, because he's the champion from last year. I know he never beat Hadi before, so Hadi is going into the show as a high favorite. But Samson is the champ. Samson improved. Unless Hadi comes back really 5 kilos lighter, I think he's not helping himself. But let's see what tomorrow brings. So I have Samson, Hadi in second. I have Rafael pushing Hadi because his shape. You know, he's going to stand next to Hadi and he's going to hold his own shape-wise, and his condition is also very crisp. You know, so and therefore I have Rafael in third. I have James in fourth because I think this is going to be the best James we've ever seen, and he's holding his size this time, and his back, he's grainy. He's got that Eduardo Correa look. You know, he's grainy. He doesn't have the most pleasing physique, but he has that granite, Dwayne Yates-like, you know, a grainy look. And I think that helped, and his back double biceps is really good. And I think that's why he can beat Marcelo out for fourth place, and I have Marcelo in fifth.
Mesmo que tu tiver certo, eu ainda acho que isso é uma ótima previsão aí para os brasileiros, né? Tendo dois brasileiros top 5 seria um sonho.
Yes, for Rafael and Marcelo in the top 5 at this lineup, yeah. The thing is, they're not qualifying for the Olympia tomorrow, so they have to move on. So, but placing in the top 5 here at the Arnold will go. They can go to any show and win. You know, I know Rafael is going to do Brazil, but I think he's going to do England also. You know, because if it is really close, I see something like this happening. I see Rafael getting a controversial third, which means a lot of people are going to think he should have beat Hadi. So now they both going to England. So why not go to England too? Stand next to him again. Let the fans see, you know, because, you know, controversial results sometimes influence the judges also, just a little bit, you know. And if they go back on stage 2 weeks later, you never know what happens. Now, he's going to go to Brazil. You know, there's plenty of opportunities for both Marcelo and Rafael to qualify for the Olympia, because if you place in the top 5, you need to be on the Olympia stage. And like I said, in the Olympia, anything's possible. Because once it switches to Samson or Rafael to the symmetry, because Derek is a symmetrical guy. He has nice aesthetics. He's not the best from the front, but he's very, very good from the back. And I think Rafael will stand next to Derek also look really, really good. You know, it's going to be hard for him because of Samson, because Samson has the aesthetics and has the size. You know, I mean, being 300 or close to 300 pounds on stage, that's. And how tall is Rafael?
Qual a altura? Eu não sei.
1,80, 1,82 por aí, 83. Deve ficar próximo disso.
180, 183, that's tall.
É,
6 foot,
é
6
de 1,80 e
Is he
83.
is he taller than Ramon?
Sim, é mais alto que o Ramon.
Yeah. So he needs to be 265 on stage.
Mas eu falei com ele, eu falei tanto com o Rossi quanto com o Rafa. Os planos do Rossi é competir o Reino Unido e o do Rafa é priorizar o Brasil. O Rafa ele tem aí 5 semanas daqui até o Arnold Brasil e ele disse que prefere trabalhar esse tempo para garantir o título do Arnold Brasil do que quebrar essa preparação fazendo o Reino Unido. E pelo que eu entendi, o Rossi quer fazer o Reino Unido e não fazer o Brasil. Disse que quer fazer o Brasil quando estiver melhor preparado. Eu não sei se isso foi algo acertado entre eles, mas me pareceu que foi uma decisão bem individual de cada um.
Why wouldn't Ramon do Brazil too? I mean, this is in your country. I mean, this is where your fans get a chance to see you compete. For me, this is how I feel. This is mandatory. As a Brazilian at a big show in Brazil, and you're in shape, I think it's mandatory to compete. This is not for yourself, this is for the fans. You know what I mean? So it's okay to compete before or somewhere else, but that's just how I feel. I think if people put a show on in your country, I think, and as much as the fans support the bodybuilders, your number one goal is to please your fans.
Eu concordo, é um bom argumento. Eu tenho 5 semanas para convencer o Horst de competir no Brasil, então. Seria incrível. Cara, é uma
ups and downs. So, but how do you feel now? You still have that fire in you, or are you getting too comfortable making all this money?
Cara, eu amo o estilo de vida, eu estou me sentindo muito feliz com o meu corpo. Eu nem sei por que eu mantenho um condicionamento tão bom ainda, porque eu estou pesando 102 quilos, mas meu condicionamento está... Eu poderia me preparar em 5 semanas, mas eu acho que estou curtindo o momento, eu não estou pensando muito nisso. Eu tentei voltar no ano passado, tentei voltar em 2022, ganhei um show no Brasil, classifiquei para o Olímpia. As coisas não saíram como eu esperava, eu acho que já o acúmulo de lesões já prejudicou muito a estética do meu físico, então eu estou curtindo muito mais esse papel aqui de poder ajudar os atletas e estar levando isso aqui para o público do que propriamente em cima do palco. Eu acho que a minha contribuição está sendo maior aqui, então eu estou me sentindo confortável aqui.
I heard you say a lot, but you didn't answer my question. So I don't want to know. I know your contribution to the sport. You are one of the veterans, but are you done, or is there still you still have one in you? I think the fans want to see you too. If they know you're not done 100%, I think the fans deserve to see Eduardo and go out on the stage in the home country. That would be, for me, the biggest thing to do.
Cara, eu ainda não consegui responder, eu ainda não consegui me olhar no espelho e dizer que acabou. Então, eu não posso dizer que acabou para ti, porque eu ainda não consegui dizer isso para mim mesmo.
I know, but you can look in the mirror now. It is not now. The show is in 6 weeks, you said, or whatever. So, I mean, you said you need 6 weeks to get ready. So, why not just give the fans one more Eduardo? I mean, what do you think?
Prometo que eu vou pensar.
A condição está muito boa. Em 5, 6 semanas estaria pronto. E eu estava tentando convencer ele do Olympia Master.
Yeah, but that's in 2 years. If we don't even know if that's happening again. Listen. Okay, I have an idea. Why don't we do this? Because, hey, listen. Let's do it for the fans. You get ready for the show, and it's not about where you place or whatever. It's just about you giving it to the fans one more time. I will put an effort in and come out, and I'll be in the audience cheering you on as a fan. How about that?
Tu quer mesmo ir pro Brasil, né?
A gente tem um show no mês de agosto no Brasil.
You're competing too?
Não, eu não.
Oh,
Em agosto a gente tem um show de 212 no Brasil.
Oh, so you want to do there's no 212 at the Arnold?
Não.
Well, let's do the Open. Who cares?
Mas tu sabia que todas as vezes que a gente pensa em competir, a gente pensa muito numa performance individual. O Denis foi a primeira pessoa que falou um ponto de vista que, por incrível que pareça, eu não tinha pensado ainda. Talvez fazer o último show não por mim, mas pelas pessoas, pelo público, sem grandes responsabilidades, né? Como uma forma de retribuição, eu prometo que eu vou pensar com muito carinho.
Imagine the fans knowing you only do it because you want to give it to them one more time. Can you imagine what will happen when you step on stage? I guarantee you they have to fix that roof later. That alone, those goosebumps that they're going to give you, that will be worth everything for me. Who cares? Do you believe you can still win the Olympia?
Não.
So, who cares?
Verdade.
Get out there, show them one more time, and then ride off in the sunset and do what you do now because you take care and you support the people coming after you.
Eu prometo que chegando em casa...
Have your little girl, she will see you and she will understand this is you on stage, she can see you. I will come to Brazil for that.
Os olhos dele brilhou. Os olhos deles brilharam com a ideia do Arnold na Open.
O Denis está tentando arrumar uma maneira de ir para o Brasil de qualquer jeito.
We all know it's true. That's true too. But everybody knows he doesn't need more than 5-6 weeks. It's always been.
Não, ele tá muito condicionado.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You know, have a couple of protein bars and shut up.
Denis, tu vai estar transmitindo, tu vai estar fazendo a transmissão que é gratuita para todo mundo durante sexta e sábado,
Yes.
todas as categorias?
Yes, all categories. We're not this year. We're not doing the prejudging, so I will be watching prejudging. But tomorrow we have a 6 p.m. Pre-show for 1 hour where we talk about what happened at prejudging, and then we have finals from 7, I think, until 9:30 tomorrow, and then the same thing for Saturday. Because the last 3 years we did the prejudging commentary and the finals. So, but this time we'll switch it up. Thank God I don't have to work so much, and I can enjoy prejudging in front of the stage this time. And but yeah, other than that, we'll do the same broadcast. It's going to be me, Fuad, and Janet Layuk and Todd Harris. You know, we've been doing this 3 times together now. This 3rd time. I do it for the 4th time. They did it the first year with Cedric McMillan. Rest in peace, brother. And yeah, I'm excited because you know I love, and this is something that you're going to love too, because even though we're no longer competing, or not me, not you, me, but you soon, you can step in my footsteps soon, and just, you know, that way you don't have to miss the sport, because there's nothing worse. And I always say this: when you're a bodybuilder, a professional bodybuilder, that's a different job. And for a long time, I just don't see why someone who was successful can just stop and just disappear, because you know how it is. If you're no longer around, people talk about you for 4 more weeks and then it's just done. So the real professional athletes will come out after you stop competing, and you still find a way to stay relevant, and you still find a way to keep a fan base even though you're not on stage anymore. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because there's no better way to go out on stage than to let the people know and thank the people off stage. This is it. That's what I did at the Olympia in 2010, where I knew this is it.
Eu estava lá.
There's nothing better, and I can tell you from people like Chris, Flex, they all regret of not doing it. Flex did it a couple of years later when he came back at the Classic, but it's not the same. It's not the same. So I think this is for you. This would be, trust me, this would be your best experience of your whole career, is when you go out and you see the support from your fans. I'm just saying it one more time to get him on the damn stage.
Tá quase me convencendo.
See, he probably, yeah. He's going to regret tonight that I was here at the podcast today, because listen, to everybody that's listening out there, if you can understand what I'm saying right now, put the messages in, support me with what I just said. Let's get Eduardo, the Eduardo we all know, one more time on stage, in front of his home country, in front of his fans, in front of his family, his beautiful wife, his beautiful daughter. And Dennis will come to support him on that stage. I will do a seminar if I have to, whatever it is I have to do. Guys, if you support me, I support you. Let's get him back on stage. Boom.
Eu
Que
acho que
droga, Denis.
ele já está
eu tava
convencido.
planejando comer um steak com purê de batatas e eu acho que eu só vou comer um steak com aspargos hoje. Droga.
You can eat whatever you want. You got a couple of days. When you go back to Brazil? Monday?
Segunda-feira, dia 4.
The 4th?
É.
Yeah. Yeah, so everything stops when you get home.
Eu acho que ele já está convencido, ele só precisa falar com a Carol, com a esposa.
Boa, Pacho. Boa, tu sabe como funciona.
You haven't given me your opinion yet. What do you think? Don't you think this is the right way to do it? If he would look like garbage, I don't want him to go out and embarrass himself. But we know Eduardo. You know? This is how you want to end your career.
Eu concordo. Eu vi ele na academia, a gente treinou junto essa semana, a condição tá incrível. Temos 5 semanas a partir de sábado, então acho a ideia perfeita. As pessoas já estão colocando aqui no chat #Eduardo nos palcos.
Yes.
Vou pedir pro pessoal entrar na última foto do Instagram do Correa e colocar lá #Eduardo no Arnold.
Listen, guys, all the fans that are listening from Brazil right now, one more thing, he's laughing. I'm going to take a picture with the guys here from the podcast. I'm going to post a picture, and I want you guys to #listen to the Menace. Listen to the Menace, and only us 3, we know what this means, okay? Are you his coach? Or are you going to still work with Chris? You still with Chris?
Yes.
Okay, so, guys, #listen to the Menace.
Denis, são 7 horas, a gente vai pro meeting agora.
Mas antes de a gente encerrar, eu preciso fazer uma pergunta, né? Eu como treinador aqui na frente dele, queria que você falasse um pouquinho para mim e para a galera que nos acompanha sobre o seu método MTUT, Maximum Time Under Tension, como surgiu, como...
Who changed the name? It's Menace Time Under Tension.
Menace, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah. How did I come up with that? Okay. And in later time, I mean, there's no secret that I'm old. And when I was at the end of my career, because I never had an injury. And I got to a point where, because you know when you're young and you train, you don't fear any injuries. You go weight, you go balls to the walls, and you don't have no fear. But once you get a little older, and then you start to worry, what if something happens and I tear something? Because you see it happen everywhere else. So I told myself, I said, what can I do to mimic heavyweight, but not use heavyweight? So my idea was just, everybody knows about the negative movement, you know? So I said, why don't just go super slow on the concentric? And therefore, you can use lighter weight, but since you go so slow, it feels so much heavier. So, and then I realized real quick when I was doing it, I would push way more blood into the muscle. And I had less risk of injury because, like I said, instead of 4 plates on the incline, I would do only 1.5 or 2. But I did work myself up to 4 plates because when you keep doing it for a while, and you control super slow, I'm talking 10 seconds up, you control that weight, you get so much stronger doing it that when you do it the normal way, it's too light. So you increase and go slow. You increase. I ended up doing 180 kilos super slow on the incline bench. That's how strong I got, you know. But this is not what I'm trying to tell the people to do. Use lighter weight, go super slow, and prevent injuries.
Eu fiz isso durante o tempo que eu tive lá e o pump que eu sentia, eu tinha até dificuldade de fazer as poses no final do treino.
Yeah, and also the difference was because when you do a normal workout, you get a good pump, no doubt. But how long does a pump last? 30 minutes? The pump is gone.
Menos.
With this super slow, hours. I was at home hours later on the couch. I was still pumped. Matter of fact, legs, I was still pumped the next day. So there is something, it just works a little bit different. Don't ask me for science. I'm not a scientist. I'm just an old school bodybuilder who tries to find a shortcut with the least amount of danger for injuries. Because injury can be career ending. If you tear your biceps, you tear your chest, as Eduardo. You know, he's lucky that he was able to fix things. But, you know, it could be so bad that there's no coming back from some injuries. And especially when you get older, that's when you want to get a little bit more safe.
Sim, eu tenho uma.
Oh, yeah. What happened? What did you do?
2016, fazendo supino com halteres. Tava com um halter de 60 quilos. Mas vinha já de um desgaste, já tinha um incômodo na cabeça longa do bíceps. E eu acabei rompendo a cabeça longa do bíceps e o peitoral maior.
Yeah. You didn't get it fixed?
Não.
Why not?
Quando eu machuquei, o bíceps desceu e o peito ele não
retraiu.
Não retraiu. Então o médico viu a lesão do bíceps e não viu a lesão do peito. Eu operei o bíceps ficou bom, ficou no lugar, e o peito eu só fui perceber a lesão quando eu comecei a fazer a fisioterapia.
Oh, wow. And it wasn't possible to get it done later?
Não, aí eu fiz minha última preparação, competi mais algumas vezes, mas a lesão comprometia muito e daí eu foquei na carreira de treinador.
Eu acho que tu precisa ir para o Brasil para poder mostrar o teu método para as pessoas. Aí a gente arruma um jeito de tu ir para o Brasil rápido.
Let's go, Brazil!
Denis, queria te agradecer demais aí. Pô, eu sou muito teu fã, mas tu tem muitos milhares de fãs aí no Brasil, cara. Eu tenho certeza que o pessoal ficou muito feliz de poder te assistir hoje aqui. E quero te agradecer. Pacho, obrigado mais uma vez.
It was an absolute honor, and like anytime you guys need me, I'm here. So now let's take that picture so I have something to post, so my Brazilian fans can hashtag.
Fechou.
Eduardo, listen to the Menace. I'm not stopping until
Combinado. Valeu, galera. Esse foi mais um podcast. Amanhã, entre prévias e finais, a gente vai estar recebendo aqui Pacho, Tamer, para estar comentando sobre as prévias, falando de Ramondino e o que a gente espera para as finais da noite. Então fiquem ligados, amanhã, após as prévias, a gente vai estar recebendo aqui o Tamer ao vivo para estar falando com a gente.
E lembrando a galera perguntando da transmissão, a transmissão é gratuita. Denis, você vai estar na transmissão pelo site do Arnold, as pessoas podem acompanhar a transmissão.
Yes.
Então vocês vão estar acompanhando lá.
Yes.
O Denis na transmissão. E, acabando as prévias, corram aqui para o canal da Max Titânio, que a gente vai estar fazendo, né, os comentários das prévias junto com o Tamer.
É isso aí, galera. Esse foi mais um podcast. Foi a invasão brasileira aqui em Columbus, Ohio. Espero por vocês amanhã. Tamo junto. Um grande abraço. Obrigado pela audiência. Valeu.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, James.